Hello everybody, I am Brad from Building Momentum, and today we are taking one of our newest hires, Alan Brooks,
Howdy.
through the amazing unboxing process of a TAS 6 3D printer. Now for those out there that are getting TAS 6 3D printers or have one and you don't know anything about it, you're in luck because Alan doesn't either. And
Nope.
we're going to take him through the process of setting it up and then getting ready to do awesome things on that 3D printer.
And this is the same printer we use in our Marine Maker program. So if you're in that program, you're watching this, this will help you get started with it too.
Absolutely. All right. So should we just go ahead and get it out?
Let's
Fantastic.
do it. Okay. It's a huge box.
Comes in this giant box. All right. Should I just watch you do this or should I offer to help?
Well, I think I can take things out of boxes.
It starts with box one, so you should start with box
yeah,
one.
so, well, it says start here, so hold on. You know what, we should put this on, I can't do this up here. So the box for this thing is massive. We're gonna leave it on the ground, and I'm gonna take the pieces out and bring them onto the table, the workbench here. So it starts with this handy start here manual. But luckily I have an expert in the subject and don't need manuals.
Step one, throw the manual away.
Right.
No, don't throw the manual away.
So then it comes labeled in boxes box one, box two. Oh, fancy.
Fantastic. It comes in its own case.
Here's our octopus. Do you know if this was made on this printer?
It was made on this printer, and they'll have a file in there that you can test make that, I'm pretty sure.
To like replicate to make sure
that your setup is correct.
Right. So
you have a one-to-one.
SD card, filament tube, filament, pasta filament, iridescent ice, silver smoke, and aromatic coffee. Does this actually smell like?
So when some of those filaments from Protopasta heat up, they make the room smell like cinnamon or coffee. It's delicious.
Sticker.
So on average, these things are right around $2,500 to up to $3,000 if you get the dual head attachment that goes onto these things.
Okay.
Which these are all dual head capable, but you actually have to buy the attachment to have.
And this is box two. Wellsbot TAS single extruder tool head.
Let's do it.
So for something like this, use a buddy. If you just spent $3,000 on a printer, you don't want it to get, jacked up just because you try to do it yourself. It feels like Mr. Rogers, someone's here. So, what just happened, Brad?
So the doorbell rang, and guess who it was, Alan? It was FedEx giving us 15 of these Wellsbot TAS 6 printers.
And a dual head, so we can
So I
with
can
that
show you
too.
guys what that looks like. That's right.
So we'll jump right back into setting this up. I have a little bit of experience with 3D printers, not a ton, but so far you really don't need much. These things come, it looks like at this point, relatively flat packed, so all I have to do is kind of take off tape, take off foam, and it'll kind of get into the place it's supposed to be, right?
Yeah, it looks like it is.
Yeah. To do this, so we actually need to lay this down. So there's an arrow on the top here that should be pointing up. So will you help me do that?
And I kind of snuck out a piece of foam already.
Yeah. So we'll take that guy and this one. Hold on. Let me take this out first. So it actually lays flat. Tools.
And there is our build plate.
Okay. So
that will come out and go this way once we have it fully set up.
right. So then, okay. Carefully remove the tool head from the toolbox. Empty contents of accessory box into a clean, flat work surface. Look at this, clean, flat work surface. Thanks. And this is the extruder tool. They call it the extruder tool head. What does a dual head actually do?
So the dual head allows you to do a couple things. It can allow you to do two different colors of materials. It will allow you to do something called dissolvable support material. So that is something like a PVA based material that provide your supports within your structure, and then you put this thing in a bath, usually of a pH greater than 7, and it will dissolve out that PVA, that material, that polymer, leaving you with a structure that doesn't have those breakaway supports like many of the 3D printers do. But because it takes a little time to get used to setting up those files the right way, especially in the 2-color type of regime, it is nice to learn how to do the single head critique first.
Oh, I see. So this is actually going to lay flat on the surface. I got it.
Right.
Okay.
So what's the end result of this is this will be up,
Yep.
and that stage will move in this direction.
Gotcha. So they also on the build plate here they have this lovely sticker: warning, at ALF Objects Incorporated, we respect your freedom to modify your Lulzbot. However, any modifications or attempted repairs cause damage are not covered under the warranty. So definitely do that to these because
totally modifying this law.
Yeah.
I'm sorry about that,
but we heed the warning.
We appreciate it.
Warning heeded.
Noted.
Okay, mount the Y-axis assembly. So we got to turn the sucker back up on its feet. All right, so turn that, and then we're going to mount the Y-axis assembly. So let's take these screws out. So there are these 4 screws, 2 in the front, 2 in the back. Let's take these guys out.
I can't remember what you said. Did it want you to install this first, or is that something that
Oh, we got distracted, didn't we?
we did? We were talking about dual heads and.
No, just let's take it out.
Okay.
Yeah, empty contents of the box on the clean flat surface. So this wiring here, where my nose is going to fit on this side where the stuff is. So
That makes sense, right? The connectors are on this side, the wiring's on that side.
So this kind of sits, oh, that's nice. So it automatically sits down into it. Hand tight until snug, do not use a tool. So I just will hand tighten these little drivery guys. Next step is for wiring. Everything seems to connect pretty straightforwardly. The wire for the, I don't know if you can see this somewhere, but the wire for the motor is already kind of right where the motor is, and it's, again, if you've ever plugged a computer cable in, it's essentially the same thing.
Like a white JST connection, right?
I don't know what JST means.
It's that.
What does JST stand for, Brad?
I don't know what JST stands for. I'm gonna make
All right.
something up. Joint, strike, tickle.
All right.
That's technically correct.
Still plugging the Y-axis motor. Remove and discard the packaging tape. Easy peasy, nice and squeezy. That's
Can I
one.
play with some of these things in the back here?
Yeah, as long as I don't need them. What is that? Extruder 2.
That's awesome.
Oh, is that for the dual head?
I bet you that's for the dual head once we open that up.
So let's see. I think that's all the tape. And then you pull this sucker back, and you've got some connectors under here. These should be pretty straightforward to connect. 1 goes snap, 2 goes snap. Where's 3 though? Oh, 3 is hiding. So 3 goes. Is this a heated build plate?
It is.
So that's probably what this big honker is for the heat.
The big contacts on there?
Yeah. So that's to transmit the heat data. So it looks like all the wires are done. Secure the print surface cable. Press the print surface cable back into the black cable mount. That's this guy right here. Look at that. Oh, and
So just to sum up at this point, you basically pop out those screws, pop that thing in,
Yeah.
it sits right in, you put the screws back in, and then you just connect the cables. And you can't.
It's
mess
4
that up,
cables,
right?
yeah.
None of them are the same.
right, none of the cables are going to go into the wrong port. They all go in. You shouldn't force anything. And right now, I've only screwed in 4 screws and plugged in 4 cables, and I'm almost done. Next step looks like it's the head tool. So
That is
that's
this guy.
All right. So this has a pretty big, heavy motor here, and a little cable coming off of it, and a little stick of
Yeah,
filament
they put a
coming
little
out.
filament in for you, so you kind of see where it goes.
Oh, I see. Okay. So then this is the, here, I'll show you. So let me make sure I know what I'm doing, right? So motor, filament goes through here. We got the extruder head, it comes out there. Bunches of fans to keep everything cool. What are these? These look like blowers, actually. What are they doing?
They are. They're little fans, and so one of the cool things you can do is control those fans. Sometimes you can do it in slicing programs.
Okay.
It'll allow you to have a lot of flexibility over the way you cool the part. But ideally, what you want to do is you build that part, you can cool it dynamically, and so you don't have
neat.
things like slumping. You don't have as much of the strings that go.
So like the second it hits the table, it's going to get cooled off.
Right, and it
dry.
actually helps with some of that internal.
So extruder goes down.
And you can imagine.
You know, I'm going to turn this around so we can see it.
Gantry.
Yeah. And it looks like there's a little channel for it to sit down inside of. This is E-steps number 830. I don't know what E-steps mean. What are E-steps?
They are some of the stepping that the motor uses in advancing that filament.
Oh, I see.
So these things are stepper motors.
Got it.
Hence the steps.
Right. So, I'm gonna take this. They wouldn't have given me the set of tools that don't work. But, oh wait, no, there we go. It just didn't want to fit in there the first time. So then we're taking out the screw that's here already. After you loosen it a little bit, it comes out really nicely just by hand. There's a couple of washers on there too. It does not say where they want the washers though. I'm assuming on the outside.
What kind of washers are they?
Well-
Are they just flat, or there's a lock washer?
No, they're just flat. And I'm being careful to hold the washer too so I don't drop one or... As I say, I'm being careful and I immediately drop everything. But luckily that huge 280 millimeter bed is underneath me catching it. So it looks like it's one screw connection, which is awesome.
And the rest just sort of sits in there.
Yeah, so this just like flits down. This looks like they 3D printed this, actually.
That may be the case.
Actually, yeah, I think they must have.
Yeah,
that's
that's
pretty neat. So the actual like housing and backplate for the extruder, and actually
It looks like a
a
lot.
lot of the parts were actually printed probably in their lab. That's real neat, guys. That's real neat.
Let's go ahead and pull that sticker off that says 830 steps, and let's just keep that somewhere in the event that we need to go back at some point in either the Model N's firmware or in some type of,
Stick it right there for now.
program or something. We need that. Fantastic.
It's good. Okay, cool. So I've got the extruder head, or sorry, the tool head, as they call it, sitting in here. And now they've got a little cable here. It's got an arrow. It goes into the other arrow one.
How many pins do you think that is?
That is
A 12 pin, 14 pin?
14 pin, it looks like, but there's only 13 pins in there.
But you can't get it wrong, right? There's not another.
No, you can't. Again, and you line the arrows up and they point to each other and you're done.
Wow.
It's awesome. Okay, now we gotta prepare our filament reel holder and tube guide.
Great.
Where is our filament reel holder? Is that this guy? No.
That is your tube.
That's the tube. Tube.
Your filament holder would be the thing that holds your roll of filament.
Is that this? Ah,
Nice.
it's already on there and it's printed and it's 3D printed too.
Of course.
There's another one here that wants to flip down. It's supposed to flip down, but it's a little tighter.
What is that for?
That is the tube guide.
Nice.
My filament guide tube. That's this thing. And slide it onto the bracket. So
That makes sense.
it looks like it goes in. I probably want to put it in this way so that the tube can go down here, right?
Yeah, that looks about right. And then the filament will unreel and go into this.
Right.
way.
Okay. And that seems loose, but I think I get it. So we can manipulate when it
Right.
is flying around. Okay. Cool. But everything is connected. Let's turn it around and
Fantastic.
plug it in. Power on, guys. I'm gonna do it.
All right, here it comes. Electrons.
Did it turn on?
I'm gonna turn it. Oh, we got blue, and it's
Great.
TAS 6 single 3D printer.
Proceed to operation guide. Oh, it's a new guide. I need a new guide. I don't
Oh,
need this
we're
guide
moving
anymore.
on.
I'm
We
done.
just- We just leveled up.
We're gonna take a break. We'll be back in a minute after we've done all the steps here that get the computer setup going. It's pretty straightforward stuff. Follow the instructions in here. We'll come back once we're done. Okay, so we're back. We've got our printer ready to go. Filament's loaded. Software's configured. Printer is spitting out filament. That means the nozzle's hot and the filament is loaded correctly. So this should be just enough to print our first thing. This is our own little addition. We've got a GoPro on there. Excuse me, a generic action camera on there. We've got the print loaded on there. Click print. Okay, I'm clicking. Look at that. It says it'll take 46 minutes. All right, so the test print took us about an hour to run through. That's what that time lapse that you just saw is. And I'm going to yank it off the build plate. Now, what do I do? How do I take them off?
So they have a spatula that is in their kit. It should be blue, and you essentially start working it off the build plate. So yeah, that's nice. So yeah, just gently start removing it from the legs, and you'll notice that there's some flex in there, so you don't want to actually break them off. And you kind of get that thing underneath and pop it right off.
Okay.
One of the things you can do for some of your prints is take a glue stick and use a PVA glue stick, and it will make the print stick better. In this case, they recommend just using a little bit of rubbing alcohol and just cleaning the build plate, and obviously we got plenty of stiction right here. There we go.
There, just pops right up. So there we go. That is our, there's our octopus.
Love it.
Very nice. Awesome. Well, check out the rest of our videos. This is our first unbox, first build. Tim and Albert from Building Momentum are going to be working on the Ultimaker 3 later, and we're going to be spitting out videos as often as we can, showing you how the gear that we use works, how the kind of stuff that we make with it, and more about Building Momentum as time goes on.
Yeah, awesome. Good job today.
Thanks, man.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you.